English Edge podcast.
From the English Clarity Lab.
Welcome back to the English Clarity Lab, everyone. I'm Mary, your host and analytical guide through the sometimes messy world of professional communication. And with me today, as always, is James.
Hey Mary, and hey to everyone listening. I've got to be honest, just reading the title of today's episode made my heart race a little bit. Disagreeing without sounding mean. That is my literal nightmare.
You aren't alone, James. For most B1 and B2 learners, and honestly for a lot of native speakers too, disagreement feels like a personal attack. We're so afraid of being the bad guy or sounding aggressive that we often just stay silent.
Exactly. Or if I do speak up, I feel like I sound like a robot. Like, I disagree with your statement because of X, Y, and Z. It feels so cold. It feels like I'm starting a fight, even if I'm just trying to help.
Right. And in English-speaking professional cultures, there's this very thin line between being firm and being rude. Today, we're going to give you the linguistic tools to walk that line perfectly. We're moving away from I disagree and moving toward collaborative pushback.
Collaborative pushback. I like that. It sounds much less punchy.
It is. So let's set the scene for our thousands protocol scenario. We aren't in a typical office today. Imagine a small neighborhood tool-sharing library. You know the place, where you can borrow a ladder or power drill instead of buying one.
Oh, I love those. Very community-focused.
Exactly. And our characters today are co-founders and distant cousins. So there's a layer of family history on top of the professional relationship. James, you're playing Cousin Liam. You're worried about the money. You want to start charging a mandatory $10 monthly membership fee because the insurance for all those power tools is getting expensive. It's the only logical move.
Okay, I can do that. I'm the money guy today. And you?
I'm Cousin Sarah. I'm the one who believes in the mission. I think the library should stay 100% free. Otherwise, we're just another hardware store.
Oof, that's a tough one. I'm already feeling the tension.
Good. That's where the best learning happens. Let's jump into the scene.
Look, Sarah, I've been looking at these insurance premiums for the summer quarter. They've gone up another 15%. If we don't start charging a mandatory $10 monthly membership fee, we're going to be bankrupt by October. It's the only logical move.
I take your point, Liam. The insurance costs are definitely a huge hurdle for us right now, but I have a slightly different take on this.
A different take. Sarah, the numbers don't lie. We need cash.
I understand the math, really, but I'm concerned that a mandatory fee would completely alienate the very people we're trying to help. If a neighbor can't afford $20 for a drill, they definitely can't afford $10 a month just to be a member. I'm not sure a fixed fee is the best fit for a community project like this.
But what's the alternative? We just close the doors?
Well, let's look at this from another angle. Instead of a mandatory fee, how would you feel about a pay-what-you-can donation model at the point of rental?
Okay, wait. Sarah, stop right there. That felt actually very smooth. I didn't feel like you were attacking my idea, even though you were basically saying my plan was bad for the community.
Exactly. Did you notice how I started? I didn't say, no, that's wrong, or I disagree. I started with, I take your point.
I take your point. It sounds so much more respectful than I hear you.
It is. I take your point acknowledges that the other person's argument is valid and logical. It's like saying, I see the data you're looking at. It creates a bridge. If you just jump straight to your own opinion, the other person feels ignored.
Right, it's like a verbal nod.
Precisely. Now, James, let's look at that second phrase I used. I have a slightly different take on this. Why do you think that works better than I disagree?
Well, disagree feels like a wall. It's like a no entry sign, but a different take sounds like we're just looking at two different photographs of the same thing. It's less about who is right and more about different perspectives.
Exactly. It's subjective rather than objective. It invites the other person to look at your photograph without forcing them to throw theirs away. And then I followed it up with a very specific concern. I said, I'm concerned that...
Yeah, that's a big one. I use that sometimes, but I usually say I'm afraid that. Is there a difference?
I'm afraid that is okay, but it can sound a bit more formal or even slightly dramatic in a small setting. I'm concerned that is the gold standard for professional disagreement. It shifts the focus on the outcome or the risk. You aren't saying, Liam, you're being mean to poor people. You're saying, I'm concerned about the impact on the neighbors.
Ah, I see. It's not personal, it's about the project's health.
Exactly. It keeps the ego out of the room. Now, let's talk about the phrase I used to reject your specific idea of the fee. I said, I'm not sure that's the best fit for our mission.
Best fit. That's a very common phrase in English offices, isn't it?
It's everywhere. When we say something isn't a good fit, we're saying it doesn't align with our goals or our culture. It's much softer than saying that's a bad idea. A bad idea implies the person who thought of it was being foolish. Not a good fit just means the timing or the context is wrong.
It's like clothes. A shirt might be a great shirt, but if it doesn't fit me, I can't wear it. It's not the shirt's fault.
Exactly. James, that is a perfect analogy. And finally, I used a pivot phrase. Let's look at this from another angle.
I liked that. It felt like we were physically moving to a different spot in the room to look at the problem together.
That's the psychological effect. When a conversation gets stuck, like Liam and Sarah were getting stuck on the fee, you need to move the camera. You use that phrase to suggest a completely new direction. It breaks the yes versus no cycle.
And you finished with a question. How would you feel about...
Yes, never underestimate the power of a question in a disagreement. If I say, we should do a donation model, that's a command. If I ask, how would you feel about a donation model, I'm giving you the power to evaluate it. It's collaborative.
It makes me feel like I'm still part of the decision-making process rather than just being told what to do.
Exactly. Now, James, let's try a little role play. I want you to be the one disagreeing this time.
Oh boy, okay, I'm ready.
Let's stay in the tool library. I'm Sarah again, and I'm proposing that we spend our last $500 on a fancy new laser engraver so people can put their names on their projects.
A laser engraver when we can't pay the insurance? Sarah, are you crazy? Wait. I need to be professional. Let me try again.
Go for it. Use the phrases.
Okay. Sarah, I take your point. A laser engraver would be a really cool addition, and it would definitely get people excited about coming into the shop. But I have a slightly different take on our priorities right now.
Good. Keep going. Why don't you like the engraver?
I'm concerned that spending our last remaining cash on a luxury item might leave us vulnerable if one of our essential tools, like the table saw, breaks down next week.
Excellent. Now, try to pivot.
Let's look at this from another angle. Instead of buying the machine now, how would you feel about starting a specific engraver fundraiser on social media to see if the community wants to chip in for it?
Ah, James, that was perfect. You acknowledged the fun part of my idea, you voiced a logical concern about the saw, and you offered a way for me to still get what I want without hurting the budget.
Wow, I actually felt confident saying that. It didn't feel like I was fighting you. It felt like we were solving a puzzle together.
That was spot on, James, truly. You didn't just disagree, you redirected the entire energy of the conversation. You acknowledged the value of the idea, the coolness of the laser engraver, but you prioritized the survival of the business. That is exactly what a high-level communicator does.
It felt good, but I noticed something while I was speaking. I almost said but about 5 times. Like, I take your point, but, or it's a cool idea, but, is but a dangerous word?
Oh, that is such a great observation. But is what we call a verbal eraser. Everything you say before the word but is basically deleted in the listener's mind. If I say, you did a great job, but you were late, what do you remember?
Definitely the part where I was late.
Exactly. In a professional disagreement, if you can replace but with and, or even just the pause, the impact is much softer. For example, I take your point. At the same time, I'm concerned about the budget. See? No but. It allows both ideas to exist in the room at once.
At the same time. I'm writing that down. That feels much more balanced.
It is. Now, let's look at the specific interpersonal dynamic in our thousands protocol scenario. These co-founders are cousins. In many cultures, disagreeing with family is even harder than disagreeing with a boss.
Tell me about it. If I disagree with my cousin at a family dinner, it's a whole thing. My aunt gets involved, my mom has an opinion, it's a mess.
Right, and that's why using objective language is so important. When you use a phrase like, I'm not sure that's the best fit for our mission, you are removing the family element. You aren't disagreeing with your cousin, Liam. You are protecting the tool library. You are disagreeing with a concept, not a person.
So I'm using the mission statement as a shield.
In a way, yes, it's a professional shield. It says, I love you, cousin, but the project needs something else right now. It keeps the relationship intact while allowing the business to move forward.
Okay, so we've covered how to start the disagreement and how to voice concerns. But what if the other person doesn't listen? What if Liam just keeps pushing for that membership fee?
That's where the pivot and the question come back into play. If someone is stuck, you have to change the environment of the conversation. If Liam says, we have to have a fee, you can say, let's look at this from another angle. What if we found a corporate sponsor to cover the insurance instead?
Ah, so instead of fighting the fee idea, I just offer a third option.
Exactly. You're inviting them to brainstorm with you. It's very hard to stay angry at someone who is asking for your help to find a solution. Using how would you feel about is a magic key. It's not a demand, it's an invitation.
I think I'm starting to see the pattern here. It's all about giving the other person an out. You don't want to corner them or make them feel stupid.
Okay, time for our clarity check. James, I'm going to give you 3 common B1, B2 mistakes made when disagreeing, and I want you to tell me why they are dangerous.
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Mistake number 1, starting with, I'm sorry, but
Oh, I do this all the time. I'm apologizing for having an opinion. It makes me sound weak, right? Like I don't believe in my own point.
exactly. You don't need to apologize for a professional opinion. I'm sorry should be saved for when you've actually made a mistake. When you use it in a disagreement, it actually makes the other person feel like you are doing something wrong by speaking up. It adds unnecessary guilt to the conversation.
Okay, no more I'm sorry unless I actually break something. Got it. What's number 2?
Mistake number 2, using you statements. For example, you are being unrealistic or you don't understand the budget.
Oof, yeah, that feels like a finger in my chest. It's an attack. If someone says you don't understand, my brain just shuts down and I want to fight back.
Correct. This is why we use I statements or the statements. Instead of you are being unrealistic, try I'm concerned that this timeline might be a bit tight. Instead of you don't understand the budget, try the current budget doesn't seem to support this expense.
The budget doesn't support it. It's so much colder in a good way. It's just a fact. The budget is the bad guy, not me.
Exactly. You're letting the data do the heavy lifting. And finally, mistake number 3, disagreeing without an alternative.
Oh, I hate when people do that. They just say no to everything, but they don't have any better ideas. It just halts everything.
It's a progress killer. If you're going to use the soft no, you should almost always follow it with a positive pivot. If you say, I'm not sure this is the best fit, you should immediately follow with, but how would you feel about trying alternative X? It shows you are still committed to solving the problem, even if you don't like the first solution.
It keeps the momentum moving forward. I like that. It's not just no, it's no, but what about this?
We've covered a lot of ground today, from tool libraries to insurance premiums to the danger of the word but. James, what's your biggest takeaway?
I think it's the idea of collaborative pushback. Disagreement doesn't have to be a collision. It can be a redirection. Using phrases like I take your point and let's look at this from another angle makes me feel like I have a superpower. I can say no without ruining a friendship or a professional partnership.
That is the ultimate goal of the Clarity Lab. We want you to be clear, but we also want you to be someone people actually want to work with.
Well, I'm definitely feeling more confident. I might even go disagree with my landlord later.
Maybe start with something smaller, James, like disagreeing about what to have for lunch.
Good point. Baby steps.
Before we go, let's do a quick recap of our target phrases for everyone listening at home. I take your point. Use this to validate the other person first. I have a slightly different take on this. Use this to introduce your disagreement gently. I'm concerned that Use this to focus on risks and outcomes instead of personal feelings. I'm not sure that's the best fit for. Use this to reject an idea based on objective criteria. Let's look at this from another angle. Use this to break a deadlock. How would you feel about use this to propose a collaborative alternative?
Perfect. And remember, everyone, you can find the full transcript and a cheat sheet of these phrases in the show notes below.
Thanks for joining us in the lab today. Practice these phrases this week, even if it's just in front of the mirror. The more they feel natural in your mouth, the easier they'll be to use when the stakes are high.
See you next time.
Keep it clear, everyone.